Okay, in this video, let's talk about finding buyer leads in FreedomSoft. A couple ways to do it. Both are going to be found here in the Marketing tab. So first one, pretty obvious, right? Just put your mouse over Marketing, come right down here to Cash Buyers. And what this allows you to do, now again, this is looking specifically for cash buyers. I'll talk about that in a minute, where there's no deed of trust at the time of recording. So pick your state. Then you can come right down here. You can go by zip code or you can go by county. So I'll just open this up and just jump into St. Louis County here, just like that. And then what I like to do, this search is going to default to the last 90 days. And I typically like to go back a little farther than that. So I'm just going to click on Show Advanced right here. And there's that last 90-day default range. I'll usually go back 1 to 2 years, something like that. You can go back as far as you want. I like to leave this, sort results by number of properties, just since I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second, where it'll list them out. And then if you want to put in specific amounts, you can. I'm going to leave those wide open and click search. And this thing will go to work here, start to spin a little bit, start bringing back results. So what it's going to show is the name of the company, all right? And then I think I went back 1 to 2 years. There's the tax mailing address for that individual or company, in this case a land trust. And it's showing that this particular trust has purchased 11 properties in that time frame. Average amount $6,700. So I can click right here on Show Properties, and it'll pull up the addresses and the amounts. All right. So we'll close that back down. Once you go through this, what this allows you to do, you see you can come up here and make a selection. All right, this page, all pages, whatever the case. And from this current cash buyer tool, to get them in as buyer leads, you just have to do a quick export import. All right, and so I could just select all pages, export to CSV. It'll take the information on these particular buyers, throw them in a CSV file, and then you can just come right over here to a buyer campaign and do a quick import on it. Okay, so that's one way to identify buyers, again, anywhere across the country. Another way is to use another feature in marketing called Lead Finder. And I wanted to point this out in this video because I think most of the time FreedomSoft users think that Lead Finder is only a seller lead feature, and that is not the case. So let me show you an example. I'm going to open up Lead Finder. Oh, let me touch base on this really quick. A cash buyer. So at the time of closing, there's a recording that takes place in the local county. All right, and if there is no deed of trust recorded, the assumption is made that it was a cash transaction. If there was a deed of trust recorded, that would be recorded on behalf of the lender, and so then those particular transactions don't make this list. The reason I'm pointing out both is because I find that a lot of investors will just chase cash buyers, and they leave out a large portion of the buyers that are really legit buyers across the country, simply because they're not closing with cash. They're closing with private money or maybe hard money, something like that. But they are absolutely legit buyers. There's just a deed of trust recorded at the closing. So I bring that up to say, don't count out the buyers that don't show up in your cash buyer search. All right, so that's what I'm going to show you how to find now. So I'm going to go back to the Marketing tab, and this time click on Lead Finder, and then we'll come right over here and click Start Search. So this is a very, very simple search. You can follow these exact steps. Start with your state. I'm going to leave it on Missouri. This time I'm just going to throw in one zip code, all right? And I'll show you why, because it's going to pull a lot of results. So 63138 is the one I'm going to put in, just like that. And then we're going to come over here, make one selection, put in a couple dates, and then we're going to click Search. The selection we're going to click on is absentee owner, all right? That means that a transaction took place where the buyer purchased a property that was not their primary residence. All right, so these are investor transactions, so absentee owners. And then I'm going to come right down here and open up financial filters, and I'm going to put in a couple dates. All right, I'll just go off right here, today's date, and I'm going to leave it 2020, and then I'm going to come right back here. I'm going to put in the same date, but I'm going to go back 1 year, so I'm just going to change that real quick to 2019. Okay, so these are all the absentee owner or the investor transactions in this zip code in the last 12 months, and click Search. And you could do this for any property across the country, all right? So 440 investor transactions in this one zip code in St. Louis. You see downtown St. Louis is right down here on the water. So we're up north right here. Let me shrink that down a little bit. So there's a little zip code right up here, 63138, and we just pulled all of the absentee-owned transactions in that one zip code in the last 12 months. All right. Now from here, just like if you're using Lead Finder to pull seller leads, you simply just make your selection and then move these into a leads campaign. All right. So two different ways to find buyers. Again, a specific cash buyer search, but then a buyer search. And back to my point, I don't want you to rule out the non-cash buyers. There are a lot of really, really legitimate investors out there that close with private money, hard money, whatever the case, just not paying cash. And so when you're looking to sell a deal, don't rule them out. All right, so two different tools, both found right here in the marketing tab. And I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can click Need Help right up here. Click on Support Center right here. That'll take you to our help desk page, which is searchable. We've got our support number down here and our email support@freedomsoft.com. Hope that helps. Thanks.